Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. CLNS Media, Celtics All Access back in Boston. Same result, and an even better one for the Celtics here, going against the Sacramento Kings, who did lose De'Aaron Fox shortly before the game to some knee pain that he's now missed 2 games in a row with, and C's jumped right on the Kings from the early minutes. Got Tatum going for some threes, fed Brown on a pair of other ones, and they were off to the races. Tatum 36 more points after his 51 in a blowout win against the Wizards 2 days ago. Brown shakes out of his funk, didn't play all that well in Washington, and scores 30 in this one. And another great passing game for Tatum. Marcus Smart had 7 assists in his second game back from COVID, and bench fills in, extends that lead, C's lead by 33 at half, get it up to 40 pretty quickly in the third quarter, and by the time the fourth quarter comes around, the bench spills in, Aaron Nesmith and others, they get the lead up to 60, which I saw NBC tweet out that was the biggest lead in Celtics history. Gino time pops off. I can't even remember the last time Gino made an appearance in the Garden. Tatum and Brown are laughing KG style. I put that video up on Celtics CLNS on Twitter, and you had great jovial scenes of Deuce and Smart boxing afterward. Grant was boxing Tatum along the sideline. No bike watch again, and Tatum even took part in the towel toss into the crowd. Everybody together for this one. Ime, even after the win, talking about the strides that the team has made to get to this point.
Yeah, sets the tone. Everybody kind of follows their lead, but they're buying in on both ends of the court, guarding extremely well, and then carrying over from last game offensively. That was great to come out and see. But they are the 2 pillars and leaders of the team, and when they come out and play with that intensity, everybody seems to follow suit. So everybody has a role. Obviously, Robert's huge out there. Marcus doing some of the same things, but those guys really set the tone offensively. And the effort that they're giving on defense and, holding the team to 30 in this day and age in the NBA is obviously high-level defense in the first half.
So what do we take from this one? Obviously, the Kings are wretched. The Wizards blew a 35-point lead tonight to the Clippers in other news, so they have lost 4 straight and seem to be going in a horrendous direction as well. I'll also add that these 2 teams don't feature great rim protectors, so the C's were able to not only beat them down the floor, which is important even against those rim protectors, but get to the interior in the half court. That's still a problem that I see the Celtics having. Drop defense, doubles, traps, things that make life harder on Jayson Tatum as a point of attack player. Those are going to continue to be an issue for the Celtics. But what are they doing now that Ime set out to accomplish at the beginning of this year? Playing elite defense, holding the Kings to 7 points for almost the entire first quarter, and never letting off their necks. I believe the Kings finished in the 20s percentage-wise from the field, and for most of the game were below 10% from 3. They never got anything going on, and Sacramento actually is a pretty prolific offensive team. Ime said that coming into this one. So the defense is rolling. Starting lineup, the defensive rating for that group now is a 90. Hard to knock that, and the cohesion that's developed between them through 14 games now this season when everyone's available. Ime loved the pace, as you heard him there, and said post-game he sees them starting to dart up the floor. They've emphasized how quickly their outlet passes, and he said 18 was a high all season for a half for the Celtics in terms of outlet go-ahead passes to lead transition breaks. So they're starting to do that well. Tatum and Brown connecting, early assists. I believe Tatum assisted Jaylen Brown's first 3 baskets to get him going in this one. They continue to pass and look for each other in the half court and in the full court. So all these little habits that Ime's starting to instill, whether it's ball movement, whether it's trusting teammates, whether it's continuing to shoot, which still seems to be his mantra when it comes to the 3-point shooting, they've gotten benefits out of that these last couple games. And the statistics do say that the Celtics are a little bit better when they shoot more threes than less. I don't tend to agree with that. I'd like to see some downhill activity and more basket looks replace some of those threes. But so far, the math is pointing in Ime's favor there. So those are the areas I still have concerns for. Ime post-game said that he feels good about them in post-game pressure situations. The Indiana win was good in that regard, but it's counteracted by that awful Portland collapse that we watched last week. I still think there's room for growth and much to be seen in those areas. But adversity, when it comes to this team not spiraling, snowballing, also means surviving losses. The whole team was healthy these last 2 games here. Another injury or COVID case or whatever it's going to be is an excuse to get back to their old selves, and we're still yet to see that, even after 2 admirable wins here. So the adversity part, the fourth quarter execution, close games and closing games. They closed the quarters better in this one, as Ime talked about after the game. Listen, they're checking off some boxes. They're responding to Ime in some ways, and in many ways, these last 2 games, they were more together and enjoying each other's company and having fun in victory and success more than I've seen in the last 2 seasons combined. Success for this group often felt like a relief through other victories over the last couple seasons here. And this one, it finally felt like they accomplished something. Like they got a weight off their shoulders. You look at the sideline, you look at just how much fun they were having out there. That's really the word. Like it was just nice to see this group finally have some fun. It hasn't been there the last couple years. And through the worst stretches last week, I was talking about that with a lot of people. Like, is this group ever going to enjoy being together again, playing basketball together? This might be momentary, but it is rare what they were able to do the last couple games here. Beyond scoring blowout wins, what this team almost never does anymore. So the Celtics run away from the Kings, lead by as many as 60, and they are now on to play 2 wretched defenses in their own right in Atlanta and New Orleans later this week in a back-to-back, couple days off. Certainly will squeeze in a practice here and try to fine-tune some things. But overall, the Celtics are healthy and have a real chance to get back on their feet here, as the deadline, by the time they play again, will be within 2 weeks. Marcus Smart, another plus 36. Sort of a somber mood took on his comments pregame against Washington. Is he starting to kind of save himself as part of the construct of this team? It's another question you can start to have if they extend this. And consistency, coherency game to game, those are sort of things we look at and say, are they really there with this group? And that's what they're going to have to prove this weekend as they hit the road. And they will be back at the end of January for a massive game against the Miami Heat if they go into it with some momentum and some consistent play and a bunch of wins stacked up. They'll be in a place by then to climb higher in the standings. But for now, still a 500 group. Hard to say anything else has been accomplished other than some habits that they've started to see pay off here. To break bad habits, you got to start to continue to do those good ones, and it hasn't always been easy for this group. So I still understand people having some skepticism in this group, even after a feel-good pair of back-to-back wins. I am Bobby Manning. Of course, support our sponsors, com.com/garden, 40% off premium subscription if you go over there and get that. LinkedIn.com/garden, go post a job for free. Get your job out to hundreds of millions of users on LinkedIn. I'm on there, Josue, John, Jimmy, everybody's on LinkedIn, as well as candidates who could fill your job, and they link you directly to them. Check out Celtics All Access, ton of stuff in Washington. And of course, Josue will be on the road for Atlanta and New Orleans this weekend. I'll be going to a bunch of games in February for exclusive looks inside the team. Go to Celtics All Access, as well as our pressers at CLNS Media. And of course, I write every game at clnsmedia.com. Ton of notes from the Washington trip you want to go check out there, as well as the Smart Story. And a story to come tonight. Thanks for your support. Celtics move along. They're in Atlanta on Friday. We will see you on Celtics postgame then, and Josue will be live at State Farm Arena. I'm Bobby Manning. Good night.